In 1969, Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch revolutionized Western cinema with William Holden leading aging outlaws. 55-plus years later, discover where these legendary actors ended up, from Ernest Borgnine's longevity to Warren Oates' cult status. William Holden, Pike Bishop. At 51, Holden was fighting for relevance in a changing Hollywood. Once the studio system's golden boy, he'd been losing roles to younger stars like Steve McQueen. His weathered, lived-in face had become perfect for Pike Bishop's world-weary outlaw leader. Holden brought gravitas to the role that Time magazine called his best performance since Stalag 17. He understood the character's tragic nobility, a man clinging to outdated codes in a world moving toward mechanized warfare. After film, The Wild Bunch served as crucial career resurgence, leading directly to two major peaks. The Towering Inferno, 1974, massive commercial triumph. Network, 1976, his final Oscar nomination and arguably finest performance. Continued steady work through the late 70s. Holden died tragically on November 12, 1981, alone in his Santa Monica penthouse. After heavy drinking, he slipped on a rug and struck his head. He bled to death over several hours. His body undiscovered for 4 days. He was 63. Ernest Borgnine, Dutch Engstrom. At 52, the Oscar winner was perfectly cast as Pike's loyal second-in-command. Borgnine's gap-toothed grin and bear-like presence brought both menace and humanity to Dutch. His chemistry with Holden anchored the film's emotional core, two aging professionals who knew their time was ending. Now, Borgnine experienced the longest post-Wild Bunch career of any cast member, spanning over 4 decades until his death at 95 in 2012. The Poseidon Adventure, 1972, major box office hit. Airwolf, 1984-1986, television stardom as Dominic Santini. SpongeBob SquarePants, 1999-2012, voice of Mermaid Man for New Generation's Emmy nomination at age 92 for 2009. Borgnine was the only main cast member to work with Peckinpah again. Reuniting for Convoy, 1978, he outlived all his Wild Bunch main co-stars by decades, finally succumbing to renal failure on July 8, 2012. Robert Ryan, Dickie Thornton. At 59, Ryan gave what Time magazine called the screen performance of his career as the conflicted Dickie Thornton. His character's moral complexity hunting his former friends to avoid prison perfectly suited Ryan's ability to convey internal torment. Behind the scenes, Ryan clashed frequently with Peckinpah. Ryan's post-Wild Bunch period was tragically brief, just 4 years, but represented some of his finest work. The Iceman Cometh, 1973, his masterpiece. A Eugene O'Neill adaptation that seemed to reflect his own mortality. Won Kansas City Film Critics Award and National Board of Review Award, tied with Al Pacino. Ryan died of lung cancer on July 11, 1973, just 1 year after his wife's death from the same disease. He was 63. His final performance in The Iceman Cometh premiered after his death. Edmund O'Brien, Freddie Sykes. At 54, the Oscar winner played the cantankerous old-timer Freddie Sykes. O'Brien brought decades of character work to his portrayal of the gang's crusty conscience. His scenes provided both comic relief and wisdom, representing the old ways that were disappearing. After film, O'Brien's career essentially ended after the Wild Bunch due to early-onset Alzheimer's disease. O'Brien died on May 9, 1985, at age 69 from complications of Alzheimer's. His final years spent in institutional care as his condition completely changed his personality. Warren Oates, Lyle Gorch. At 41, Oates was the perfect Lyle Gorch, dangerous, unpredictable, but strangely sympathetic. His chemistry with Ben Johnson as the Gorch brothers created one of cinema's great sibling duos. After film, Oates achieved something his more famous co-stars couldn't: genuine cult status. Two-Lane Blacktop, 1971, Monty Hellman cult classic. Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, 1974, Peckinpah lead role. Dillinger, 1973, title role as the legendary bank robber. Stripes, 1981, memorable as Sergeant Hulka with Bill Murray. Oates died prematurely at 53 on April 3, 1982, from a heart attack. He'd been suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease but refused medical treatment. Ben Johnson, Dekker Gorch. Then, at 51, the former rodeo champion was perfectly cast as Dekker, Lyle's more level-headed brother. Johnson brought authentic Western grit to the role. His real-life rodeo background made him the most believable cowboy in the bunch. No acting required, he was the dying West. After film, Johnson experienced a remarkable career resurgence. The Last Picture Show, 1971, Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor as Sam the Lion. Initially rejected the role due to profanity, but John Ford convinced him to take it. "That changed my whole life," Johnson said of his Oscar win. Became the only person to win both a World Rodeo Championship, 1953, and an Academy Award. Johnson continued working steadily until his death from a heart attack on April 8, 1996, at age 77, while visiting his 96-year-old mother in Arizona. Jaime Sanchez, Angel. At just 30, Sanchez was the youngest member of the gang, playing Angel, the idealistic Mexican revolutionary torn between loyalty to his village and the Wild Bunch. Now, Sanchez has the remarkable distinction of being the only surviving member of the Wild Bunch's main cast at age 86. Unlike his legendary co-stars, Sanchez never achieved major stardom but maintained a steady career. Carlito's Way, 1993, notable supporting role with Al Pacino. Extensive television work including Sesame Street. Continued acting into the 2000s. At 86, Sanchez remains the last witness to Peckinpah's revolutionary vision in the final chapter of Hollywood's greatest Western. Strother Martin, Coffer. Then, already famous for Cool Hand Luke's failure to communicate line. Martin entered his most productive period. His portrayal of the sadistic bounty hunter Coffer, alongside L.Q. Jones, created one of cinema's most memorable villain duos. After film, the 1970s brought steady work. True Grit, 1969, and Rooster Cogburn, 1975, alongside John Wayne. The Ballad of Cable Hogue, 1970, another Peckinpah collaboration. Hopkins, 1973-1974, Golden Globe-nominated TV series. Slapshot, 1977, memorable supporting role. Hosted Saturday Night Live in his final year. Jones lived to 94, dying in 2022 as one of the last surviving links to classic Hollywood westerns. Albert Dekker, Harrigan. Born December 20, 1905. Then, the established character actor's role as the ruthless railroad detective Harrigan became his final performance. Dekker died on May 5, 1968, over a year before the film's release, under highly controversial circumstances, found dead in his Hollywood apartment under bizarre conditions. His death was ruled accidental autoerotic asphyxiation, though colleagues expressed disbelief. The Wild Bunch represented a potential career resurgence that never came to pass. Bo Hopkins, Crazy Lee. Born February 2, 1938. Then, the virtually unknown actor's role as the volatile, Crazy Lee launched his career. His terrifying performance terrorizing bank hostages was genuinely unsettling. After film, Hopkins' breakthrough led to a busy character actor career. American Graffiti, 1973, career-defining role as Joe Young. Over 100 films and TV shows. Worked with directors like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Final role, Hillbilly Elegy, 2020. Hopkins died in 2022 at age 84, just weeks after his final film's release.